the 2019 Bill Strausbaugh Award winner from Weburn, Sam Wiley. Congratulations, Mr. Wiley.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening, everyone.
And I will start by saying I was fortunate to attend an event over at Weburn earlier this year, and just incredible. The golf course was beautiful, but one of the things that really stood out was your staff and the whole team and how they made the day run seamlessly. So maybe it's a good place to start. How do you do such a great job of motivating your team and mentoring your team?
Good evening again, and thank you. We had the opportunity to host an event that Brian was at, and I've been fortunate over my 20 years at Weburn to have been able to, I believe a lot of that starts at the hiring process, when I'm hiring my staff, really trying to find the right fits to complement each other and to complement myself on the team. But throughout the year, we kind of self-motivate each other. We certainly do a lot together, not only at the golf course, but away from the golf course. And that could be in the evenings, it could be playing an extra 9 after work, it could be taking some staff trips. So we do a lot of things. I certainly also allow my staff to have a lot of flexibility and freedom with how they create their schedules, whether it be playing, whether it be to attend weddings, etc., those type of things. I believe our business has become tougher and tougher, and certainly with the email and kind of the 24-hour service that people kind of come to expect, I try to do a lot of things where I give them as much freedom and flexibility, and again, they'll cover for each other, and those are motivating factors, I believe, that make them successful.
Time is such a factor these days, and it's difficult to find time, and yet you always go out of your way. You're committed to mentoring them and putting time into them, their lives professionally and beyond. How does that come back and help you, Sam Wiley, and what you're doing day in and day out?
Well, as far as, I think if this is the direction of the question you're asking, certainly my goal is to, once I hire them, is to train them and get them ready to take on their own roles, whether it be as a head professional, or some of my staff certainly get out of the business, but it's kind of a self-fulfilling cycle, if you will, in that, as they move on and move up into their other opportunities, again, whether it's in golf or out, it certainly tends to feed the system from the back end as far as any kind of new interest and opportunities come on board and be a part of the team.
You've been a mentor to so many. Who are some folks that guided Sam Wiley in the early years?
Well, I'd certainly say, right from the start would be my parents. My parents have done so much for me, and they have been great role models for me in my entire life. They've never at one point questioned what I was doing. I could back up for a second. They wondered what I was doing when I got into the golf business. They didn't. We grew up playing public golf in Pittsburgh, and so there was no club professional. I had been out of college a year. I had a degree in economics, and they wondered why I was just going to go play golf. And obviously, as we know, that's kind of the furthest thing. So my parents, and then kind of from a professional standpoint, I've been fortunate. I approach it like very much a business-like approach, and I went to try to work at the best clubs for some of the best professionals in very expertise, if you will, and again, that would be certainly Greg Lecker in his role as a great merchandiser, Craig Harmon in his role as really a complete club professional, and the opportunity to work for him at Oak Hill during the Ryder Cup, and then Jim McLean, just again to kind of elevate the instruction side of my background, which was certainly light after the first couple of years, so that was great. And then lastly, at Peace Valley, through Dennis Sadisher, who worked for Bill Strausbaugh, and again, who is a great promoter of his staff, and certainly was a great role model of mine.
It's all coming together here. 20 years at Weburn. Lastly, tell us about the membership there, and give us a little tip on how to keep a job fresh for 20 years.
Well, the club is great. I'm very fortunate to have found Weburn. Again, I came from outside the Met section, certainly knew of it. The club is incredibly strong. Certainly my goal, just like many others that you've heard tonight, and I'm sure many others in this room, is to continually to reinvent myself and stay fresh. And certainly all the things that have been mentioned before, but I certainly take my staff on educational trips. I certainly do that on an annual basis to visit various professionals. A lot of it is in the instruction side of things, but certainly I pick up the phone and I talk to a lot of our peers about what they're doing, what's going on in their world, and how we all can get better.
That's great. Strausbaugh Award is a lot about giving back. You're doing a great job of that. Thank you so much. Sam Wiley of Weaver.